Hey, it's Aaron, and today I'm in a 2024, I think that's right, yeah, 2024 Lexus TX. It's a new year. It's hard to remember these dates. I'm getting old. I'm also sick, so this isn't going to sound the greatest, and I'm going to be kind of quick and glossy because, yeah, I just don't feel that great, which is dumb. I did the exterior of this yesterday, and I was great. And now I feel like crap, but you know, that's how it is. Anyway, I just want to do the interior because this is a new Lexus interior. It's a completely new Lexus model. So the TX is sort of like the Lexus version of the Toyota Highlander. So it is a 3-row crossover style SUV. It is not body on frame like the GX and other models have been. So it is the first truly 3-row Lexus that's not a truck-based vehicle. Before this, you could get the RX L package, which was the longer wheelbase, but it was still not as large or spacious as this one is. So this is a big jump for Lexus, and it's a market niche that they really have missed out on, and so it's good that they're doing something with it. I do have complaints with this. I go over those with my walk around video, which I'll link to down below this. But on the interior here, I'll talk about a couple of those, but again, I'm going to be kind of glossy. So yeah, here we go. I'll just start in the usual spot and we'll walk around. So starting at the door, you can see that it's a Mark Levinson stereo in this particular model. And then this is the 350, by the way, the TX 350. It is not the hybrid, not the none of that other stuff. Those are coming later. So you got your mirrors up here. You can see the auto fold setting, and then the manual, and then you can see select left or right, move them. And then you have your door locks right here, and windows right here, and the window lock right there. Down here is your hood release. This is this little, a lot of Lexus vehicles have this. I don't know what you're supposed to store in there. At least this one is felt lined, so it's not just hard plastic, but I have no idea what you are supposed to be putting in there. Change for the toll booth or something? I have no idea. But anyway, when you come up from there, you're seeing the first of the vents right here, and then you see a bunch of buttons. These basically control your gauge cluster screen. So your odometer and trip right here, up and down for the brightness right here. Then you have your fuel port. So you push that to open the fuel port, you push that to open the hatch, and then here's your seat memory settings. So rather than being on the door, they're right here. The doors have more contour than they have in the past. I'll try to back up a little bit. Also, I didn't point out the door handle. To open the door, you push this, you push the door, right? So it's electronic. If, for whatever reason, you have no power, you can pull this once, unlatches, twice, and push, and it might open. It's not opening. I think the car has to be off. Let me try that. So pull this, pull it twice, there you go. So if the car is running, this does not work pulling, but you can still push. So there you go. I'm going to start the car back up because I really want the heaters on. Anyway, so I went over this stuff. Let's look at the steering wheel. So over here you have these generic looking buttons. I'll get to that in a minute. Right here you have your volume control, and then you have a menu button. Now this menu button and these volume controls kind of give you the idea that all of this is infotainment. Now here's the thing to know. If you have a system that does not have a head-up display, then when you put your finger on any of these or this, it will show a menu there. If, however, you have a head-up display like this one does that may or may not show, when you touch those buttons, you'll see a menu pop up. That menu tells you what the buttons do. So if you use this, it changes what you're changing when you use these, and then when you use these, you can go to like the mode, audio off, previous and next, and so on. You can also even do volume controls from here, but it's way easier to just use these. So that's basically that side. Going to the other side, you see a mirror of that, but this time, given these indicators, it must be for cruise control. Yep. It's also for the driver information screen. So up here you see you have the radar cruise control on and off. Down here you have your lane keeping assist system. Down here is the menu for whatever else you might want to do, which is one of my primary complaints in this. Okay, so let's say that I turn on the cruise control. So I use one of these buttons to make that menu up there do stuff, and I start up the cruise control. So I turn it on. When you turn it on, it will automatically set the cruise to whatever speed you're going at that point. And then you can use these to go up and down and change that. And you can go back and forth here to change like your following distance with this and so on. You use this to switch so that these can be doing other things. Here's the issue I have. In order to cancel the cruise without turning it off, I have to use this to find it on the menu and then use a button to shut it off. That's lame. I want to just shut it off. And I don't want to turn it off because I might want to hit resume later, which, by the way, is going to require a couple of button pushes again. So, really don't like this setup. It's if you're just used to turning it on and turning it off and that's it, then this is probably just fine for you. But if you're used to doing a little more complicated things with this, it's terrible. Other paddle shifters up here. Now, let me talk about this thing. It sort of looks like one of those things from Battlestar Galactica, right? Like you're waiting for the Cylon to go, or the kit car, or whatever else you got. All it is a little sort of camera thing that watches your eyeballs and alerts you when it thinks you're falling asleep. Now, here's my issue with that. If I'm driving around like I am today, and it's very bright outside because we got sun coming down, we got snow on the ground, there's a lot of brightness, and so I'm Clint Eastwood driving around, this thing thinks I'm falling asleep. So there's that. Now, over here, you got your windshield washers and all their affiliated stuffs. So you use this to set right here, to set how much you want the auto to be. You have it on auto. There you go. You can do one off, just pushing it up and so on. And then this, when you twist it, does the back. Intermittent on all the time, off. So really quick right there. You up and down for whatever setting on this. It's pretty simple. And when you use it, you should see an indicator up there that says that you just turned it on. Maybe you don't. Let me turn it down to low. Nope, it's only the rear one that does that. Well, go figure. So when you turn on, and even then it doesn't work. Maybe I'm not moving. I don't know. But before it was showing stuff up here. All right, over here, signal turns, because that's the order you're using them in. You turn, go down, whatever. On this, you have your lights, so you can see auto, on and off, and so on. Turn your fog lamps on and off right here. End button is your auto brightness button, I believe. Yes. So there you go for that. Now let's look at the dashboard. Look at the little lights just came on. Roll, 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 roll. All right. I promised this one to be short, and I'm screwing around a lot. Anyway, over here is a usually adjustable driver information screen. So from the left side of the steering wheel, you can change what's in here. Over here is pretty much permanent. You can change this a little bit, so you can change what kind of dial it is. You can make this a speedometer if you want, and then the center will be a tack, or you can leave it like this, which is what I did because I like big digital speedometers. But really, you're not going to be looking at this a whole lot if you've got that head-up display up top, because that's the same information and way more accessible most of the time. Outdoor temp right here, clock right there, and that's a snow warning. So there you go. Over here is stuff that you can also change through that driver info setup, but most of the time you're probably looking at something like this. It'll be a synopsis of whatever. And then you can see I put a lot of miles on this. I used up a bunch of fuel. It was full when I got it. I did a fair amount of driving, couple hundred miles, give or take. This is, again, not the hybrid, so if you think that's bad fuel economy for I think it's about 11 gallons in this tank. If you think that's bad fuel economy, it's a full-size SUV with without a hybrid powertrain. So there you go. Got 96 miles left on the tank, blah, blah, blah. And then here's all the stuff that is on, all your nannies, or that are ready to be on. So there you go. If you have a lot of ice on the vehicle, these will change color. They'll go to yellow to say that they can't work. Just FYI. Now, infotainment screen. I know I showed it a little bit, but this is bigger. So your stop start button is up here. Most Lexi, whatever, most of them are like that now. And then this big old screen right here, as far as I can tell, this is standard equipment. There is not a smaller version of this screen in this vehicle. This is the new Lexus setup, so it is a more accessible and usable system. You don't have that command knob with the crappy mouse that bounces everywhere. Now it's just fully touchscreen and good to go. Down here are virtual buttons, but they don't tend to change. They generally stay like this. This is all climate control. I have it off right now because it does blow on the microphone, but you can turn it on auto pretty easily. And then when you have all of that going and you want to do something else, you'll have your seat heaters and whatnot pop up as well. So see those right there. Because the nav screen takes up more space, it does that. And then you'll see defrost and so on down here, and Duke's button right here. This is the volume, and then you can push this to turn it off, but it's easier just push this. I think you can push this. Nope, that's just an indicator. You push this, turn it on and off. Duke's lights, more vents, and then down here is a charging pad. So you can see you've got the auto park. So if you want to park, you push this and it starts finding a parking spot. Over here is your camera view, so you can turn on. This particular one has 360s. USB-Cs, as far as I know, they've nixed USB-A entirely on all of them. Wireless charging pad in this one, and then you can push that back and have more storage down here. So if you have like an MP3 player or something that you leave in the car all the time, you can just drop it down there. So pretty cool there. Little extra storage here. These are awesome. So these drink holders, they're like this, right? But if I don't want it, or if I need to clean it, I can just pop it out like that. You push this button, pop it out, wash the damn thing. You can leave it out, have that extra space, or you can put it back. And if I can get it, there we go. It's harder to do one-handed. Anyway, and it pops back in. There are 4 of these. There's 2 more in the back. So these come out, go back in, and they're interchangeable. You don't have to keep track of what part of the car they came from. They all fit in all 4 spots. So beauty there. Then you have a little bit of storage back here. Then you have your shifter. This is the new Toyota Lexus looking shifter. You've seen it in like the Prius and other vehicles. Works the same in all of them. Like this to go into drive, like that to go into reverse. Push the button and you're in park. So pretty simple there. Then you have a bunch of buttons here. Parking brake there. Traction control right there. Off-road right here. You're really not going to need that very much. When you're in snow, you probably don't need to go into snow mode. It'll pretty much take care of itself. This turns off the auto stop start. And here's hill descent mode right there. And then you have a hold button right here. That's for burnouts. I mean, just kidding. That's just a hill hold to keep you from rolling backwards. And then you have your storage here. Pretty cool. Each opens individually. Pretty deep. Goes all the way down there. Has a little LED light. Pretty decent amount of storage in there. Then you have just this faux leather. These are vented and heated seats. And then you just look at the general design. Lexus has simplified a lot, which is a pretty good thing in this one. So I like that. Now, rear view. You can see right now it's a mirror. If you flip this forward, it becomes a camera. My issue with the camera is the way it's placed. It makes it look like everybody on the planet behind you is tailgating. And it's really annoying. It's hard to back up with this camera because of the angle of the view. It's just not good. That's why I've left it like that. Normally, I really like those camera-based ones. 3 rows of seating. So this has the captain's chairs. And then you can see a 3rd row right behind that. I have one of those deployed. And a lot of cargo space. I'll show you more photos to kind of explain that. There's the other drink holders that I was talking about. And then that whole center console can pop out. Then you have your rear climate right back there. that's pretty much it. That's the interior. I kind of mostly just wanted to show the switchgear because it is different now. Lexus has moved to a kind of new design and a new infotainment, which is a big deal. And then this particular one is showing what you're going to see in other models that are getting revamped going forward. So there you go. That's what I got. This has been Aaron. Talk to you again soon.
Subscribe.